Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel and another video. This week I'll be showing you how I built this console table, and this will be a DIY style build. In case you want to build this for yourself, you should be able to follow along in the video and do so. If you want the dimensions or any of the tools or products I used in this video, check out the description. And with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. So we are going to build this entire console table out of 2x6 boards, and we use 6 of them all together. We're first going to take 2, and we actually needed to use 3 of these, but I forgot about that in this shot. But we'll take 3 of them and rip them down the side, giving us 3 3/4 inches on one side, and then whatever is left on the other side. So we will take the wider section of the board that we ripped, and we'll cut legs out of these, and we'll have a couple leftover pieces. Now, rather than bore you with the dimensions of everything in the voiceover of this video, if you want to check the description, I listed all the links and dimensions of all the pieces in case you want to build this for yourself. After we have the legs cut out, we will use those leftover pieces to make the top and the bottom support, which will go in between the legs. So at this point, I ran all of these pieces through the planer on both sides just to get the rough surfaces off, and then rip that other edge off to make sure that our boards are nice and square and also all to the same width. Next, we'll take the remaining pieces from the original rip cut, and we'll cut them right down the middle and then trim those edges off to make sure that we have all 4 boards the exact same size. We'll cut that rough edge off with a table saw, and at this point, if you're wondering if you could just use 2x4s and 2x2s instead of cutting everything out from 2x6s, the answer to that is absolutely. That would probably be even easier than what I'm doing here, but I already had a batch of 2x6s, so that's why I'm doing it this way. So I laid everything out so you'll get an idea of how we're going to put this thing together, but first we need to come up with a way to actually put these pieces together. In builds like this, you will often see pocket holes used to attach these pieces, and I have to admit that pocket holes is actually perfectly fine for building something like this, but instead of using pocket holes, we're going to switch it up and do something completely different. The legs of this console table will have support beams in the front and the back running across the top, middle, and bottom section. So using our side top and bottom support braces, we can mark lines across each of the legs where these beams will go. Next, we'll use the doweling jig to drill a hole about 2/3 of the way down on each one of these marks on each pieces of the leg. If you've done this properly, here is what each one of the legs will look like, and you can see that that hole is lined up right on each one of the lines we drew earlier. So the first hole that we just drilled creates a little channel down inside the leg. And on the perpendicular side of that channel hole we just drilled, we're going to drill 2 more holes which will allow us to access the support braces from the other side. This might sound slightly confusing at first, but just stick with me for a minute because this will make much more sense as we assemble this thing. We want the next 2 holes that we're drilling to meet up with the original hole, so we use the square to first mark the depth of how far that original hole went. And then we'll make 2 lines towards the outside or the entry point of the original hole, where we will then drill down into the first hole. You'll drill this on each one of the lines except for the center line, so I actually made a mistake as the center piece of the support brace isn't needed. So with all the holes drilled and everything put down and lined up, we can finally begin putting this together. I like to use both screws and glue on each of the joints, and the easiest way to hold everything in place while you put the screws in will be to use a long pipe clamp across the joint. However, I realize that not everyone has longer pipe clamps, So another way to make this work would be to clamp that beam down to your workbench. Then you can just wedge the leg up against that beam and attach it with the screws. We will repeat that process with the other remaining pieces. That way we have a front and a side back frame. Once we have the pieces clamped in place, we can use those secondary access holes we drilled on the legs to attach the legs to the support pieces. Because we drilled that first hole about 2/3 of the way down in the leg, we don't have to worry about those screws crossing over and running into each other. With the frame completely assembled, we can cross-cut 3 more 2x6s to make up the top of this table. So for the top, I'm actually going to go through the typical milling process of the joiner planer and table saw to make sure that my joints are perfect. However, if you want to skip this or you don't have a joiner to get that good seam, what you can do instead is use the table saw to rip off both of the rough edges, which will give you much nicer flat edges to glue up. One trick that I like to use is to wedge a scrap piece of wood in between the actual top surface and the clamp. That way when you tighten those clamps down, the clamp won't dig into the edge, leaving an indentation on your tabletop. We will come back to that tabletop a little later in the video, but for right now, let's go ahead and make the X's that will go on each side of this console table. So I'm using the leftover sections of the 2x6s that I've been cutting so far. However, 2x2s would work for this step as well. I have previously made a much more detailed video on what I'm doing here, so if you're interested in the full details of this section, click on the video at the top of the screen. But basically, we are going to clamp those boards in place on the outside of the console table, then mark the overlap where those brace pieces meet up with the X pieces. Those angles can then be cut out with the miter saw, and if you have to cut a steep angle, you can always use a scrap board to cut an angled fence to help cut out that steep angle. Next, we can pop those two boards in place, once again trace the overlap, and then we use the miter saw with the trenching gauge to cut out a half lap joint where these boards will meet in the middle. I like to file down the center of that half lap joint and then pop everything in place to make sure it fits. We won't actually put them in place permanently right now. We'll come to that a little later in the video. But for right now, we're first going to take care of plugging these holes using a 1/2 inch dowel rod or whatever size hole that you cut earlier with the same size dowel rod. Once you have those glued in place and flush cut, you can sand them down and those holes will essentially disappear. Moving right along on this build, the next thing that we need to focus on are making the slats for the middle and the bottom shelf of this table. So we've made everything of the table so far from 2x6s, so I'm making the slats from the leftover pieces of 2x6s. Resawing on the table saw really isn't the greatest idea, so if you do this, just be careful. And alternatively, it would be much simpler and faster to just use 1x boards rather than trying to make your own 1x boards like I am. Regardless of whether you mill or just buy your own 1x boards for the slats, our next step in this build will be to attach all of the slats to the support beams, which is first done by marking the exact center of that first beam, and then we will continue to split the difference between the gap on every single gap that we have, which will make sure that all of our slats are lined up and spaced out equally. After all the slats are put on, we'll move on to the next step, which is of course optional. If you have a router, I would recommend grabbing a 1/4 inch roundover bit and softening up all of the edges on the outside frame like you can see me doing here. It would have been much easier to trim the edges of the slats before I had them in place, but I quickly detailed them as well, and then after everything had the roundover edge from the router, we can finally put that X in place. Put a little glue in each of the corners, then I'll drill from the top and the bottom through the support beams and put some screws to make sure that those X's don't go anywhere after this table is finished. If you're not a fan of the dowels we used earlier to plug the holes we drilled, you can always use these wood plugs instead. Just put a little bit of glue on the outside, pop them in place, and then that hole is plugged, and you also have a nice detailed looking button on the outside. To finish the base of this console table, I'm just using white latex paint. The sprayer I am using is the Fuji Q5 sprayer. However, if you don't have a sprayer, a paintbrush will work perfectly fine. A sprayer is just a much quicker way to do this. With the base finished, we can focus our attention back to the tabletop. So I first use a router with, once again, a 1/4 inch round over bit to detail the top edge. Then I sand everything down to 120 to get it ready for staining. The stain that I chose to use is Minwax Espresso. And whenever you are staining, you want to make sure that you go with the grain of the wood. If you go too heavy on the stain like I did here, you can just wipe off the excess. I like to let the stain dry as long as possible. In this video, I think I waited about 3 days before putting that first coat of polyurethane on. And polyurethane is pretty well guaranteed to look terrible after just one coat. So 24 hours after that first coat, usually it is dry, and we will sand it down using 400 grit before applying the second coat of polyurethane. I ended up using 3 total coats of poly on this tabletop, and while multiple coats are not necessarily required, the more coats you do, the more protection that top will have, as well as the better it will look. In order to allow for expansion and contraction, I'll be attaching the top with Z-clips, so I first cut slots for the Z-clips with my slot cutting router bit. However, in essence of keeping this video DIY friendly, if you don't have a router, don't want to use Z-clips, it is perfectly fine to just use screws through the apron up into the tabletop. While this will restrict wood movement to some degree and may cause a tiny crack over time, it's not like the table is going to self-destruct. So if you are making this for someone else or to sell, take wood movement into consideration, but if you're just doing a DIY table for yourself, it should be okay. With those final screws in place to attach the tabletop, that would finish up this build. Here are some final pictures of how everything turned out. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Drop a comment down below letting me know what you think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I will see you next time.